All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION after this hour, where in a bit of a surprise visit, the Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett reportedly held talks with the Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin. He also next spoke with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the phone before flying off to have a meeting with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Now, this bit of diplomatic efforts have come on the 11th day of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. Now, Bennett reportedly offered to mediate in the crisis. He had a 2.5-hour in-person meeting with Putin at the Kremlin. And remember, this of course has been Putin's first in-person meeting with a foreign leader since the invasion began in February. The talks of course came after Ukraine urged the state of Israel to hold a dialogue with Russia. The Kremlin has said that different aspects of the situation in Ukraine are to be discussed during the meeting. Now, after the first in-person talks with Putin, Bennett then reportedly spoke with Volodymyr Zelensky over the phone. Now, Naftali Bennett has been treading very cautiously in the face of this conflict. He aims to preserve the very delicate security cooperation that the state of Israel has with Russia. Remember, Russia, of course, has got a large military presence in Israel's northern neighbor, Syria. Now, unlike the West, the state of Israel has not condemned the invasion or has slapped Russia with sanctions. Instead, the country is stressing upon its close relations with both Moscow and Kiev. And after wrapping up the meeting in Moscow, Bennett is, of course, headed to Berlin to hold talks with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The French President Emmanuel Macron's office has said that, interestingly, Emmanuel Macron had spoken to Naftali Bennett before he left for Moscow. And we earlier spoke with our correspondent Jody Cohen, who joined us from Jerusalem with more updates in terms of what this meeting between Naftali Bennett and Vladimir Putin is likely to mean.
Well, according to a statement by Israel's Prime Minister's office, the flight took off on Saturday morning after the two leaders spoke on Wednesday. Now, the timing is significant because Saturday is the Jewish Sabbath, which is the day of rest. The Prime Minister, as an Orthodox Jew, would only travel on Saturday for a life-saving purpose. And clearly, in the case of Ukraine, he thought this would be. And this suggests that he wants to play a mediating role, which was requested actually by Ukrainian President Zelensky. And Prime Minister Bennett offered President Putin, and that this offer wasn't rejected. Also significant is the fact that an Israeli diplomatic source has said that the meeting was coordinated in advance with the US, Germany and France in continuous dialogue with Ukraine. So the meeting took place at the Kremlin, and a key focus appears to be on the Ukraine war. According to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, the two leaders discussed the situation around Ukraine. According to reports, Prime Minister Bennett also spoke about the situation of Israelis and Jewish communities as a result of the conflict. They also discussed the ongoing Iran nuclear talks in Vienna, which Russia is a signatory to. Earlier Saturday, Russia indicated that before backing the Iran deal, it would need guarantees from the US and cited Western sanctions against Russia. So it appears progress in the Iranian nuclear talks and the Ukraine-Russia war could now potentially be linked.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.